Now I'm writing a bit dirty here with my uh, saving things to Dropbox. Now your file sizes are going to get huge quick. So I pop things over to the network drive where most of the production work is being done. And we'll just give you a quick little count of how much space is being used. So writer productivity, we're already at like 1.2 gigs of space. Now this is an older model iMac system, and the system has about 32 gigs of RAM, but no GPU, no math coprocessor. So a lot of the video work is done on a different machine that has a coprocessor. We have a NAS system in the background, and here's a copy of all the different projects we worked on over time. And these are the projects that are currently available for creating content off of. Here's my Camtasia file, my shot list, which is up over here, and my raw files that are being produced. So I should have 3 QuickTime raw files. Here's why we do shot list in Microsoft Excel, because I can check my QuickTime directory and see that I've got 3 here, 3 here. I can check my Camtasia. I've got 1 Camtasia file. Okay, and it's got 2 subfiles. We'll just leave it at that. Now I'm creating another Camtasia right now, so that'll also be added to the list. The key here is we decided there's a segment called behind the scenes. Okay, and we haven't even got to the questions part yet. We're already producing content, valuable content for our list. Now I'm going to pop up Adobe Story. We are definitely in Adobe Shop here. And I want to show you how some of this stuff plugs together. So here's the behind the scenes content Q&A session. I don't even remember what I titled it before, but I can go to my OneNote, and it's called Behind the Scenes for M0205C. So as a podcast, I might give it a little different title, but I'll definitely just borrow one of the descriptions here. Let's see, I want to do the C behind the scenes. It doesn't really matter sometimes, but here we go. This will be the 10th podcast in a series. I produce my podcast in advance of their release, and very often queue them up and then build them out at different times. But this tells me I've got a podcast number 10, and all these materials are related to podcast number 10. So what I'm going to do here is now it's going from behind the scenes to a podcast on 010. Actually, this should have been a text field. Text 010. And all of these are going to go to the scene 10. Now I could come back later and maybe there's a scene 10 and 11 that make the total podcast, but essentially right here we've just grouped all this content together. So when it comes time, and sometimes I'll forget to do a second audio source. That's okay. Just the backup audio source. Sometimes it lets my transcriptions go a little bit faster because I can drop the transcriptions of the unedited raw transcription into Dragon, and Dragon will clean it, get it produced for me. But basically, I'm capturing this event, this bit of content. Then I will pop over here, and we're going to do a script. Now, what script do I like to use? It doesn't really matter, but I find that a TV script is best for a podcast, and we're going to call this podcast 010 underscore, and then the product we're promoting or the channel we're promoting, and then it is writer's productivity. But actually it's a behind the scenes, so I'm going to say behind the scenes content. So this gives me a name for my script. I'm going to create the script. Now I'm not going to go and write the whole script, but I'm going to start building out the scenes from this basic that this is the 10th podcast. Then I'm going to produce the storyboard for the general podcast, and then the storyboard will give me new scene numbers. Now, changing the scene numbers all the time isn't so great, so you can actually do as the segment that it's podcast number 10, and then that way I've got I know the podcast is here, and then as the scenes come together, it could be actually scene 1. This is before I start editing any of the materials. So all these materials are scene 1, but after I get into here, I might do introduction, and then I might have another scene, which is from the introduction, we got the body, and then another scene, which is outro. Okay, so we might end up doing something like this just to get the body started. So here's my body. Oh, go to the body. There we go. Who are the characters? Well, we're going to get them down to the bottom here. We've got an action. What is the action? It's screen capture behind the scenes. Q. Now what we type in here may not be what we actually say, but we got spelling errors that we can worry about some other time. I just want to show you that this works. So welcome to Ad Briefing's copywriting tips behind the scenes of a content-related question and answer session. Oops. I just lost a network drive for some reason. Or didn't, I don't know. So you got to be prepared for havoc. If you've been struggling, having a tough time, frustrated with content creation, and not sure what to do about it, just understand it's all a piece of shit. It's all difficult, and it takes time. So I'm going to change this back to dialogue. You're bound to have this stuff happen, but here's the important thing. There are productivity tools that make it easier, faster, and more convenient. I'm going to turn the microphone on. Discover an easy and that was completely unexpected. So we're going to quit. Again, it's never easy. It's never simple. It never works exactly the way you want it to. So I'm going to pop back. Grinding out words. You finally have time to improve on selling to action. Okay, so the key gist of this is to keep on going. So behind the scenes, things are not going to always work out right. You'll get interrupted. But because we're structuring this behind a storyboard, even if some of this content's written behind, you can get the materials in place. So here's what we got. This could be a male voice, and that could be the voiceover. The more in the body, this might be more of an introduction topic. And in the body, you have the pre-record. I'm just going to put a note in here because I'm moving this male voice into the into the introduction. So we're just going to cut, and we're going to get up here in the introduction, and we're going to get down here and paste. So now the introduction has a male voice that introduces the topic, and then in the body we have the actual content from before. We may have the action of series introduction splash, and episode introduction splash. Episode title screen. See, I'm so dysfunctional I can't even type. But basically, the actions are we're gonna open the introduction. We've got a title screen. We've got the male voice is gonna introduce what's going on. Then we get into myself, where the screen capture starts. I would put some text in here, so you can go to where that first part of the screen captures. I can't open Camtasia right now, but let's say we're going to talk about this episode here. One of the things you're going to put together after you've taken some video is a shot log. Now, I've actually got my computer quite busy right now with Cam. The key is that one of your teammates can do this. You can say, hey, we just did a bunch of shots. We got a shot log together. Wow. I assure you that while you're doing... Wow. I didn't want that to open up. Oh, there's never anything that goes just the way it's supposed to. I'm going to quit Microsoft Excel. I'm going to get you a shot log after we quit this out. So we're going to cut. On my other software, so I'm not clear what screen Camtasia is saving, but what I'm going to do here is save this. And I will probably have to fast through all the saving and stuff because you may not actually care to see all that. We're at 1802. Capture it for the shot log. We're going to save. Oops, we don't want fill series. Okay, so we're saving in the background. We're running things so quickly, fast. What are we recording? I don't know. We can stop and look. But I'm going to assume it's a screen with a red at the top. So the reason we have a shot log together, this is very important, because now I can say to a teammate, I can say to an assistant, here's the shot log. I want you to get all these shots for scene 001 into the body of the storyboard, and I want the first sentence from the transcription, because we're not using a transcription service, we're using the actual drag and dictate to transcribe, so we get a rough transcription. I want the first paragraph of the transcription here, and I want who's speaking, and then I want you to keep a ledger of any surprises, anything that comes up. I also want, this is very important, where does this come from? Well, you can use comments, or you can do a shot. also want things annotated for the shots. So we're gonna go ahead and save copy. Which everything and its brother wants to save like 1,000 times. Okay. This particular behind the scenes thing is shot 3. And it is, I basically like to just pop this. Okay, so here's the shot. Okay. Now, I don't like that the text is the same for shot in action, but this is the shot we're working with. It's a screen capture, and I can go back now. When I go to edit, I can edit from the storyboard, and that's going to save me a lot of time. Because I don't know what screen this is recording on, I'm going to go ahead and check what screen. But when you're doing this for yourself, it's not all this back and forth. It's a lot easier because you just produce. You just produce the materials. The shot log is the backbone to what you're capturing. The different segments get captured into the storyboard, and then when it comes time to edit, you give the storyboard to somebody with a big pile of media, and they basically take this directory here. They can take this whole directory on a device. You can dump. I think we're up to maybe 2 gigs right now. You can dump the 2 gigs onto a device, and they can start doing editing, rough cuts, all that stuff, while you're off producing the next piece of media. How much does this all cost? Well, it costs significantly less than what you're getting paid because you're able to be more productive.